Slightly nuts.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Pearson, and today I'm joined by the Prince of all officers by 1/18 and a quarter, a one Matthew Cops.
I was concerned you were gonna say in there. Hey, how you doing?
I'm also joined by the rumor breaker, the truth seeker, the factitious tactician, a one Xeno 120.
Hit is the best player in Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Facts! And of course, the person who loves the character that got his ass beat in under 3 seconds or 13 seconds by hit, a one Dre Mayfield.
I am still the Prince of all Saiyans.
So you're the prince of one person. Got it. All right, today's topics are going to be kind of interesting because, well, they're pretty much all speculation based. But let's be honest, when have we never been able to bullshit speculation? Let's get into it. PlayStation 5 has been confirmed to have gone into development. What do we want to see it, or what do we want to see in it, or what do they need to do different to stay competitive in your opinion, or at the very least get your dollar if you're an X-Bone fan? Officer.
Well, really, for PlayStation, it's always come down to game. Have good game. Games people want to play. And, make sure your console isn't buggy mess and is built properly.
PS3. Oh, sorry, guys, I'm stuck in my throat.
Excuse me. But yeah, that's, at least for me, that's all it comes down to.
Short but sweet. Okay. How about you, Zeno?
Not gonna lie, I barely got a PlayStation 4. I'm not ready for a 5. But I'm
Bitch,
gonna
you
buy
got
it
2
anyway.
years.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I feel like it's good. I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna buy it anyway. Um, I just hope. I don't know. I guess I want backwards compatibility, like from the start, not just like, oh, we're gonna re-release this game. I want to be able to play my PS4 games on PlayStation 5. All the discs I bought, I want to be able to play them.
You know, all bullshit aside, that's actually a genuine concern. The way they do shit, nobody knows what the fuck is gonna happen in the next council cycle.
Yeah, that's pretty much my biggest concern about, if anything.
Okay, so that's all it needs to have for you?
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna buy a PlayStation. I'm gonna buy it.
Unimaginative
I'm not
motherfucker.
even gonna lie to myself.
Unimaginative motherfucker. All right, Mr. Mayfield, what does the PlayStation 5 need to have or do to get your dollar?
Hmm. Honestly, I really don't have an answer, and that's only
Wow.
because at this day and age, Sony's gonna do whatever the hell they want to do, and at this point, I don't even think they are even consider listening to the fans because it almost seems like anytime they listen to the fans, they go backwards, and anytime they
One
go
step forward, two
backwards,
step backwards. Nintendo knows that dance very well.
and every time they do go backwards, we end up getting the short end of the stick. And let's see here. I would say something about these random updates that they keep coming up, but yeah, I guess it'll be well worth it when PlayStation 5 have limited update notifications. Like, I don't know, once every 6 months, but that's just pushing it, I guess. But yeah, um, don't really have that much to say about PlayStation 5. More than likely, it's not going to be in second place or third place or even last like some uh, system that shall not be named that's in last. But yeah, that's all I got.
Wait, I had another one. So
Okay.
for Bluetooth devices, they need to make them optimal for like every device, not just limited devices. Because on the PlayStation 4, like I have all these headphones, and it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't work with this. Like it doesn't work with PlayStation. I had to buy like PlayStation specific, or I had to get like a wired headphone. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. You unimaginative motherfuckers. All right. So what I need and want out of a PlayStation 5 is, for one thing, don't fucking go past 350. Just don't. If you think your shit's gonna cost more than 350, your ass, shut up, I'm not making a joke. Your ass needs to absorb the costs. It's a system. It's going to be the linchpin for how you get most of, or you want it to be the linchpin for how you get a vast majority of your revenue for the next minimums 5 to 7 years. So what you need to fucking do is don't let us have to worry about anything beyond 350. The economy is shit in the West. And if it's not shit in the West, it's in a decline in the West. There is no country that is immune to the effects of time. Unless, they're a defunct country. And y'all may not realize it, but we've actually been around in our lifetime. There have been some countries that have risen and fallen. So it's not like it can't happen. Now, basically, I need them to make sure that they kind of sort of pull a Nintendo, but in a different format. I don't want them to make the portable also the system. I want them to make the controller the system, and make the system itself, besides reading CDs, also be basically, a signal transmitter. Basically, what the Wii U should have been. I want the system to be able to function, play games by itself when it's hooked to a TV, but I want the controller to do that too. Take that Vita, give it some bigger buttons, and give it some legitimate grips. Add some shoulder buttons, obviously. And real talk, that controller can just be locked at 720. It ain't got to do 1080. It ain't got to do 4K, and you can have a battery life that's like 15 goddamn minutes. Shit. I've seen fucking flies with lifespans longer than that. Take that shit and run with it. You ain't got to really even update the engine and the power past the PS4 Pro. In fact, you could make this thing basically the replacement for the PlayStation 4 and the 4 Pro. Call it the PlayStation 4X, the actual new system. Or just call it PlayStation 5 like you wanted to. And what you can do is make this thing basically a PS4 Pro, but now only this controller can work on the system, because the controller is also basically the other half of the system. We know it's not impossible. Look at the Wii U. Well, the parts it did right, or at least interesting. And then after they do that, I want them to have a microphone built into the fucking controller, because, well, much like previously was mentioned, their whole debacle with headphones is getting out of hand. You either got to get some cheap ass piece of shit that works with a 3.5 millimeter jack. Not that there's anything wrong with a 3.5, but a lot of high end shit would have to downscale to that. Not to mention, they always pretty much don't want nobody to use any other shit but their own. They've been getting more and more anal retentive with it since the PS3 came around. It wasn't that bad with the PS3, but then when the PS4 came out, they was like, nope, fuck it. Everybody's going to get our shit or get the fuck out. Them third-party professional controllers and shit, still, Sony commissioned them. They knocked out everybody. It's like they commissioned only those two companies. Basically, if you're not making an arcade stick or a Guitar Hero accessory, They don't give two flying fucks about your controller and your accessory. They want to get that primary money. Hashtag primary money. Also, I want them to make sure that I can, if I don't have a television, broadcast the gameplay possibly into a laptop or anything that can receive HDMI signal. Like, let there be some little attachment on the side of the PS5, like 2 attachments. So that way I could put my shit in one TV, or it could be hooked up to one TV, and the secondary attachment goes into another TV, so we can do full split screen. We can play one game off of one system, but we still got 2 separate screens. Imagine playing GoldenEye, but you ain't got to share the screen, and you ain't got to have multiple copies of the game. And you ain't even got to have a fucking internet. That type of device is called an HDMI transmitter. Google it. It's a real thing. Imagine hooking up whatever HDMI device you like to your TV without it even being next to your TV. Real talk. My home theater setup, if I had one, I would have my TV directly in front of me, but I would have the game systems like right next to the couch or on some type of armrest or some shit, or in a cabinet next to the couch. And I would turn them on and put the games on from there.
So you mean like an HDMI dongle? At like a
No, that's the actual name for it. It's called an HDMI transmitter.
No, I'm saying it's like the same concept.
Okay, fine. As long as you're understanding it. That's what I want to see. And then on top of it, I want that controller I got. I don't want it to be a cell phone because that would cost, even though it would be cheap, it would still cost too fucking much. I don't want these controllers costing no more than fucking $50. I'm tired of these $60 controllers. So what I want them to do is make sure that since this controller is basically a system, what they do is they have a premium and a regular. The premium is its own system. It's the portable PlayStation 5, the one that can't go past 720, like I said. But then it's got the regular classical edition, which is just a controller for when you're playing with other people and you're at home or something. And again, that controller can also have, the premium version can also have, the regular classic version can also have a detachable part that can go into a TV. So if that controller links up to a system, it can display that system on a television screen. So now that one guy can play on his controller and look at the screen or turn it off, and he can use the same picture as the guy who's using a regular size TV. The possibilities are both baller and endless. See that? That's how you answer a question. Take notes, gentlemen. Moving on. Some Final Fantasy games have been confirmed officially to never return to the official mainline Final Fantasy titles have been confirmed officially to never return to turn-based format. Even though they've been saying it fucking for years, it apparently didn't want to be believed until now. Is this a benefit or a detriment in your eyes? Do you think that Square Enix is making a mistake with permanent format change? Why or why not Xeno?
Ooh, you know what they can do? Okay, well, I don't know.
Why does your mic sound muffled now?
I have no clue. I think it's just the way I'm talking.
Oh, you just got louder. Okay, yeah, something about the way you're talking.
So you know what I think it'd be cool? Just as a side note, if they made it to where it was two play like modes of play, like say for instance they had like a classic turn-based turn-based campaign.
They already did that. You're talking about Final Fantasy 15.
No. Wait, what?
Yeah. Final Fantasy 15, there are 2 combat modes. The first combat mode is the default free roam real-time shit. The second combat mode is action-based. As in, after a character does an action, and you select that action from the menu, they're going to do the action. And then once the action is over...
like Final Fantasy 12, basically?
Well, it's not... I wouldn't compare it to 12, but it's more attuned to the classical Final Fantasy. Like, once you hit something, everything pretty much stops. Then you select what you next are going to do, but the enemy is going to be able to do something while you're waiting to do whatever it is you want it to do. So I think 15 is the last time you're going to see that format. Well, no, I'm sorry. I know it's going to be the last time.
Wait a minute. Wait, has that always been a function in that game?
Yes. That hour-long presentation they did about Final Fantasy 15 where they showed the release date, that was one of the things that they showed off. But the thing is that nobody plays in this mode. So even finding footage of it is kind of sort of rare.
Okay, so if I put in Final Fantasy 15 right now, I'll be able to play in that mode. Is that what you're telling me?
Final Fantasy 15 turn-based playstyle.
Yo, I'm about to hook that shit up.
See if I can find it.
I think.
Yeah. There's only like one video I can find on it after I just Googled it.
I think that it's gonna be backfired toward like original fans, but if you've never really played the other games, then I don't think it will be much of a difference. But I think it has more negative effects than positive.
Interesting. Why do you think that?
No, like I say, if you ever played like the original, like I played 9 first, and I like turn-based fighters. So, not turn-based like fighting games or whatever. What do you call it?
Is there a turn-based fighting game?
I have no
Shit, I'm gonna Google that later. Continue.
Anyway, so I'm used to like the turn-based. So like if I'm playing Final Fantasy 9, I'm running through a field, we get the battling. That's what I'm used to. You know what I'm saying? So if I've started like at 9 and 10, 11, and they just change up the whole system, I really like the new system. I like the older system. But if you just started at like 15 and you don't know any better, or 12 or something like that, then I don't think it'd be much of a difference. But Final Fantasy, which one was the first one to do it? Like 15,
do what?
Right, or 12? To do the new full real-time fighting.
15. Well, technically,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 11. But if you talking non-MMO, it was 15.
Not MMO. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's been playing real-time fighting this whole time. I feel like changing up the whole way of play is just going to throw a lot of people off. I don't think it's going to go well with the community.
Interesting. Okay.
I didn't really like 13. 13 was okay, but yeah.
Bro, nobody really liked 13.
Facts.
Like,
And then it's like
13 was one of the most divisive Final Fantasy franchises I've ever seen. And I mean that in every sense of the word. Because the problem everyone had with it was quality. But the people that liked it were the ones shit-talking the people that said they didn't like it. It wasn't even, oh, you're an idiot, you're not a true fan if you like this game, even though people will still say that to this day. It was just the quality of life associated with 13 was so garbage, because even though 13 was an entry point for a lot of people are, they're shallow gamers. That's what I like to call them. If it don't look pretty, they say fuck it. So they won't touch the old games because they're not as pretty as 13. I'm like, dude, you have no idea just how shitty this actual story progression system is, as well as how they handle the tutorial. It should not take you over 10 hours to get through an RPG's tutorial. Also, 90% of your game should not be a fucking hallway. That game's nickname, as an insult, was Final Fantasy Corridor.
Yo.
It was awful.
Dude, like, people kept trying to defend, like, well, how come it made so many sales? Well, it must not suck. You're just a hater. No, it got so many sales because the shit had 5 years of pre-orders to collect. You know how many people whined about Duke Nukem, but Duke Nukem has had fucking pre-orders since Funko-Land?
Funko Land?
Yes.
Yes, Funko Land was the shit.
They were taking pre-orders for Duke Nukem, I think, since 2002, if not 2001. Think about that.
see how they could rack that up.
Which one was it? Do Nukem Forever?
Whichever
Yeah.
one took 12 years to come out.
That was Duke Nukem Forever.
Wait, didn't it not go over well or what?
It
It
would have been
it
fine if
it's
it came out back, like
mixed
a decade ago.
mixed whatchamacallit, mixed perception. Mixed perception. That's the best way I can describe it.
Okay, yeah, you're coming in and out, Zach.
Hold on. Let me try to fix it. Because I know exactly what I did.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Okay, how's this?
Fine.
All right.
Alright.
Yeah, the best way I can describe it is mixed perception. You can't have a game that took 12 years or 11 years and meet everybody's expectations. Unless you're an MMO, and even then that's rare. Anyways. Okay. All right. Dre, did you play Final Fantasy games?
Oh, let's see here. A few. There was Final Fantasy 7, then there was 8, and there was...
Okay, cool. Well, you go next then and answer the question.
Let's see. Well... Okay, so I take it that's...
You need to speak up, bro.
turn-based formats. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just need to speak up.
Okay, so turn-based format is basically what Final Fantasy 7 and 8 were, right? And then
You hit me,
later on.
I stand still, you hit me back. Rinse and repeat.
Yep.
Ugh. I'm going to say that you know what? I don't find this to be a mistake. The only reason I say that is because even though everybody is used to the whole turn-based format as of lately, nobody said anything when Final Fantasy 15 came out.
Fire Emblem Heroes.
And it was completely and totally different. So, with that being said, if people think that it's going to be a mistake now,
Tough titty.
I would, yeah. It's tough nuts.
That works too.
Last time I checked, Final Fantasy 15 did absolutely quite well without the turn-based, thing. And lo and behold, we have a new game. Well, not a new game, but basically they're going to take a different approach than what we're used to. The whole Final Fantasy 7 remake or whatever, remastered. Whatever
Remake.
you call it.
I mean, wait. Just I don't mean to like disrupt you, but they did that with 7 though, like Crisis Core and what's the other one with the Valentine?
What are you trying to say? You mean franchise it?
Yeah, they have already done like the real time fighting before. Is what I'm saying. And I don't think a lot of people like those games. I don't think they got over well, right?
Crisis Core's problem was that people didn't want it on the PSP, but that's almost every PSP Final Fantasy's problem. No one wanted it on the PSP.
Nobody wanted the city on the PSP.
Thank you.
People played it.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't get me wrong. The city is a really good game, but everybody knows it should have been on the, PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 or something. But hey, at least it still sold well. People still played it, so there's really to, cry over, spill milk over on that one. But as far as the future of this whole turn-based format, Ugh. By the year 2020, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to reminisce the whole turn-based game, and they're just going to look at Final Fantasy 15 and so on and so forth without the turn-based, and they're just going to be like, it was nice knowing you turn-based games. Now
Damn.
to the future.
Later down the line, yeah, I could see that later down the line. I mean, they need to refine.
Turn-based games are,
That's Final
they
Fantasy,
are
you know.
what they are. Yeah, they are what they are. They're classics, but I'm not really sure if the whole going back and forth, taking about maybe 25 to maybe 30 minutes, is going to satisfy anyone. I mean, it might look
That's what she
promising,
said.
but whatever. It looks promising, but at the end of the day, it's more of, oh my god, when is it going to end?
I guess.
Hey Dre, are you on speaker?
Probably.
What you fucking mean? Where is your phone? Are you doing this over your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it next to your face, or are you holding down a button and talking at a distance?
It's next to my face.
Then you're not on speaker, bro. Like, I'm just trying to like, what the fuck you mean? Probably. Okay. Who's next?
Because I'm in the car as well.
Oh, okay. Matt, go ahead.
Well, I think Echo,
Yeah, I hear it too.
Xeno. We're getting an Echo.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Or is it me?
No, it's usually Xeno. Whenever there's an
It's
echo,
Xeno.
it's Xeno.
Alright. So, as far as I see it, bottom. I mean, 15 was good. Crisis Core, I think, was good, though the whole random getting special attacks thing was kind of stupid, but whatever. But yeah, I think this is a good idea. And if it turns out people don't like it, they can always just switch back. So, yeah, go for it, Square Enix. Just keep it all at least at the level of good that 15 was at. Done.
Wait a minute. 15 wasn't really that good.
You have to remember, Matt has what I like to call beer goggles when it comes to 15. He didn't actually play it day one. He played it day 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know how shitty it actually is.
Okay, I can give you that.
Sorry. Keep it as make them so that they're as good as 15 as it is now.
Okay. Let me see here. All right. Well, I guess that just leaves me. Surprising, possibly, absolutely nobody. Yeah. That turn-based shit can go. That can go. Or hybridize it. By what I mean is, okay, load us up on a grid or something. I touch the person, and when I touch the person, it goes into a real-time combat mode. You know, run around, Final Fantasy, combat, Devil May Cry that ass. I'm perfectly fine with that type. But the turn-based, nah. Because you automatically limit yourself. Yes, you can do some creative things with it, but most of the creative things that come out of turn-based are due to hybridization. Who here has heard the term Project X Zone? Hello? Whoops. Okay, I can hear y'all, but y'all can't. Y'all can hear me, but I can't hear y'all. Hey, I accidentally just fucked up my mic stuff real quick, so give me a hot second. I know exactly what I just did too. Say something. Let me see here. Okay, that's me. That's me. Let's see. Is this it? Yep. It's not the communication device. Okay, somebody say something. Can y'all hear me? Shit. Okay, I still can't hear y'all. What the fuck? Hold on. I'm gonna try this. Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Praise Jesus. All right. Who here has heard of Project X Zone?
Vegeta.
You're gonna pay for
I
that.
remember that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know that game is the brainchild of 3 to 4 other prequels that came before it under different titles, where they did just that. They put the characters on a grid, and then when people got close to each other, they went into a real-time-ish combat mode where you had to press all the buttons independently. You don't just select the attack from a fucking menu. But here's the thing. That still has a limit. Whether it's 2D or 3D, that still has a fucking limit. So how do you go beyond that limit? Well, you get some God key and you go real-time battle. It's that simple. Because if you ain't got that God key in your combat system, you'll miss me with it. I bet you will miss me with it. I love puns. Anyways, so yeah, we pretty much all in agreement. Ain't really got to lay on that butter. All right. Topic 3. Disney's rumored to be reneging on an EA deal. Yes, it's an actual word. Google it. On the EA exclusivity license. We're not going to debate the validity of it. More so, I'm curious who you guys think should have it in a shared license format, and what type of game do you think you can get out of it, or alternatively, you could just say why you think EA should keep it, which no one in this entire dimension other than the people that run EA will think. Who feels like they got the most bullets in the chamber? I'm curious. Well, if that answers that, go ahead, start firing, Matt.
Okay. Well, clearly, EA should not have exclusive rights to these games, particularly after seeing how awful they did with that piece of shit Battlefront 2. Electric Boogaloo. They fucked up epically on that. And Disney is quite right to want to seek out other companies to make
Allegedly, quote unquote.
Whatever. I think a few companies that might be able to treat it right are let's see. Platinum Games, obviously. Because, I mean, come on. That's a given. Platinum Games, they'll be able to make the good stuff. What the hell are you doing that for, man?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Anyway.
Did you imply Platinum Games was without sin?
No. I'm just saying that they'd be able to make some good Star Wars games.
Did they make a good Ninja Turtles game? There's your
Anyway.
answer.
At least if it's a single player, like, action game sort of thing.
Okay, before you even continue, name one game that is considered good from Platinum Games.
Bayonetta.
That was licensed.
Was it?
Yeah. You hear that?
Yeah,
Sounds like crickets.
suppose so. Well, maybe, just maybe, things will change. But who knows? I think other companies might be able to make a good Star Wars game. I think Nintendo could be able to. But then
Uh,
again,
that's
I
an
suppose
interesting. That's an
Nintendo.
interesting concept. I doubt it,
It's a
but that'd be
bit
an
of
interesting game nonetheless.
and it's a bit of a hard sell with Nintendo now that I think about it. Because I mean, when was the last time we had a good Metroid or Star Fox game?
No, it's just that Nintendo has this inability to listen until after they fuck up. So honestly, I would play it, but I would not come in expecting it to be great.
Hmm. And maybe even like what's that?
What'd you say?
I'm trying to think here of some other companies.
Oh,
You know, maybe they could release another Star Wars RTS. Maybe get what's it?
Firaxis.
Firaxis, Creative Assembly. I think that's pretty good. But basically, anyone but EA would probably do better.
I don't think Activision would be among those people.
Hmm. Actually, yeah, maybe you're right about Activision.
Swear to God, like as the days go, I can tell those two apart less and less.
Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't fuck up StarCraft 2. Oh well.
Okay.
I must be going for now. So, guess that's pretty much all the topics. So, I'll be heading off.
Okay.
Later, dudes.
All right, Zeno, you next.
I don't know. I have no clue. Who would make a good, like, as what he was saying, like who would make a good Star Wars game? I don't know. Did they make did Treyarch
Motherfucker, you
uh
actually watch this shit constantly, and you're telling me you can't think of
uh,
one developer.
maybe the people who made Horizon? I don't know.
Who made
Look,
Horizon?
shit.
Google them.
Hold on, wait, I got it. Gorilla.
Guerrilla Games.
Gorilla Games. Yep.
Okay, now you just described how I would play.
Yeah. Open world.
That's not a play style, that's a format.
It's gonna be open world game is what I meant.
No, I didn't crash. No.
Okay.
It was another phone call.
Okay, well, who else do you think
It's gonna
would
be
be a
an
good
open
idea for a game?
not Naughty Dog.
Didn't see that coming. That's usually most people's go-to.
Hell no. Dude. If Uncharted is good, but I don't think they can make a Star Wars game how they do a fucking Uncharted game or something. Who made Tomb Raider? Oh,
A lot of people.
The newest one.
The newest ones is Square Enix.
I think Square can make a good Star Wars game.
That would be cool and frightening because they also have the Marvel licensing. So we could actually get a Star Wars Marvel crossover. It's actually possible.
Okay, I can respect that.
But we all do realize that both Star Wars and Marvel are captured by Disney. So
Yeah. So if
I
Disney
guess
gets rid of the exclusivity deal, that can happen, is what I'm saying. It's a possibility. We didn't say it's a guarantee.
Oh, bitch, get out the way.
but knowing Disney,
Yeah, they probably not going.
well,
Wait,
here- here's one thing we know about Disney. We don't know everything about Disney. So they could be they could be as greedy as possible and just be like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to have that plus more with whipped cream and cherry on top, or they can just be like, yeah, no, I don't want these nuts in my face. No,
You trailing off, bro, but yeah, we all heard that
no, I'm
nuts in your
sorry.
face.
yep.
Yeah, that's I was just trying to say that nuts, no nuts in face. That's that's not that's not how Disney roll.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not
how
how they
Vegeta
roll.
rolls. All right, now as for me, I actually, well, I'm pretty sure I've said it a billion times, but I've rarely talked about it on the podcast. I actually have never seen a Star Wars movie. Fight me, internet. I didn't say Star Wars sucks. I'm just saying I ain't seen one. But I've watched a lot of the shows, and that's actually ironically one of the main reasons I can't fucking go into a movie. All the characters I like or give a shit about or who have done cool fights are either A, dead, B, missing in action, or C, not thought of in the live action continuity, so I don't even see them. So I immediately have no investment.
I can definitely
If you watch Cartoon Network before the idiot got in charge that got rid of Star Wars, the Clone Wars, you thought Ahsoka was a G.
yo, my favorite character in Star Wars, period.
She went from fighting with a lightsaber to fighting with it backhanded, which almost nobody does in the entire Jedi Order, to dual wielding.
Yep. Yep.
Where is she and where is she in all of the fucking movies? Non-existent. If you watch
Yes.
Star Wars Rebels, which is in its final season, God rest its soul. The only thing you know about everybody on the Ghost is that their ship supposedly makes a cameo in one of the new movies. But guess what? You don't see any of the fucking characters. You don't know who's alive anymore. You don't know who died. None of it. Don't toy with my emotions, even though you want to make toys based on my emotions. So I look at it with very unclouded judgment. Square Enix can do it, but they have to get their head out of their ass, and they can't blow 30 and 50 and 60 million dollars on the shit. They just need to make a good combat system that benefits all the characters that you're going to be able to play, and then they can let an American write the story, and it can be an original story, and we're good to go. Or, for all we know, because what it feels like, when Square Enix got the licensing for Avengers, it feels like they're going to make an Infinity War game. And even though that game would be not in any way, shape, or form be able to, tell the story of the movie verbatim, as long as it's themed after it, they can pull off some magic. And then they can have Star Wars DLC crossovers. So that's just one right there. But at the same time, I take that with a grain of Himalayan salt, which is actually really thick and kind of sort of hot pink. Because Square Enix, as we know, they have this bad habit of taking 3 steps forward, then 2 steps back. Not 1, 3. Because everyone can tell them what you're doing is a bad idea. They will know what you're doing is a bad idea, and they will still fucking do it. If y'all know anything about the guy who fixed, and I literally mean fixed, Final Fantasy XIV, one of the first things he said about the company was that he told them that they are not allowed to use any methodology on Final Fantasy XIV while he's going to work on it, where they send the game out first and then patch it after it's released. He had to tell them to get out that mindset. So that means God knows how long they were thinking like that.
Yeah, which is why they had to redo the whole MMO.
But you know that logic got applied to something besides MMOs because they've only made 2. So how many other games did they fuck over like that?
15.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. I'm gonna give you that. Damn, that burn. That's a grade A fire aga burn right there. Anyways, so that's why I say that. Now, as far as a second developer, I'll say Sega, but I'm gonna tell you why. Sega has some of the most creative music designers and character designers, or that have been around in the industry. They've got the most connections next to Nintendo, and they got access to everybody's number and every type of thing. But here's the main reason: they've honed their own combat system on 3 different scales: high speed, realistic, and the intermediate, in the hybrid or the middle ground. Yakuza has been around since 2000, I think 2003. They're on game number 6, number title wise, but the combat system alone sells the game, and it's always an RPG. So imagine if they sat down and had time to make a fucking RPG with the combat system of a Yakuza game, and then here comes the Jedi.
Yo, that'd be solid.
See there?
That would be mad solid.
You damn right. And that's all I got. Okay, so this one's a little short, but on to a bit of gaming news, or this week in fucked up or hilarious shit in gaming. Well, as we all know, and I'm not going to try to do no bullshitting. We had another violent shooting attack, but this time, since it didn't involve a poor or low income neighborhood and was riddled with Caucasians, it got more attention. And already within less than a week's time, we've got politicians who have absolutely no proof of their claims, stating that the reason shit happened was because of video games. But instead of trying to ban them, this asshole who is the, I believe, governor or senator for Kentucky wants to increase the tax on them. Now, let's just a brief statistical, factual recap on shooters at schools. 70% of them did not play video games, including the one that shot up the most recent school. I think it was called the Scottsdale shooting or Scottsville. Somebody looked that information up for me. But he did not play video games at all. And the senator went there, or congressman. Yeah, in Florida. But the dude from Kentucky is trying to fucking raise taxes on them. So
there was another shooting?
Yes. So here's the thing. This dude who had nothing to do with the shooting, who doesn't have any authority over the state that it even happened in, is already trying to blame video games, even though there's been scientific fact and proof that video games didn't do jack shit and have no involvement with fucking crazy people. Like, legitimately ever. So my question to you guys is, do you think there's anything we can do at this point to get these jackasses to stop lying on video games? I'd like to say I have a joke in there somewhere, but I fucking don't.
No. My answer is no. They try to blame music and television for kids acting bad instead of the parents not teaching their kids.
Correction, that is true. If you really think about it, just think about it. Watching, like, Celebrity Apprentice or fucking the whole Housewives of Atlanta, LA, or wherever the fuck they are.
First off, if you're letting your child watch that shit on purpose, I should be able to call social services.
Thank you. I agree.
See, here's the thing. I don't have any it. So I'm not even letting my children even watch that shit. Plus, TV nowadays is just absolutely horrible, boring, and just absolutely dumb. So
Until the next season of Walking Dead or Game of Thrones happens.
that and anime, unless they watch anime. But even if they watch anime, they're gonna be like, "Oh, anime is making children bad and all the other shit." Okay. So,
Nah, it's turning grown adults into pedophiles, and then they're trying to act like that shit's just normal. Yeah, I don't get that one. Obviously, the anime industry is not trying to do this on purpose, and most of the shit they're looking at is either A, not legal, or B, it's just really disturbing, but somehow it made it past the fucking censors and ratings board. But the whole point is just that people have to get involved with other people. That's the that's how I really feel about shit. People have to get involved with other people. There's no point in saying we need to make common sense gun laws. Don't blame the guns, blame the shooters. Like, well, first off, I got an idea. How about we blame everyone who's responsible and don't blame people who are not? A crazy person who gets access to a weapon because we don't have any mental background checks is the fault of the fucking federal government, which is being cock-blocked by lobbyists and congressmen who are shameless whores to their almighty dollar. Who pays the lobbyist? NRA. So it never stops being a gun's fault in some way. For the simple fact, the NRA keeps paying these jackasses. And they don't care because they get so much money and they make sure their children go to private schools. Because ain't nobody shooting up a private school. And if they do, it's not one with rich people. But, that's just my opinion. But fuck me, because I want to get actual solutions. That whole praying for someone's safety and giving them their condolences is not bullshit. I'm going to say that, but I will say this. GOP fuckboys going on the internet and talking shit, they need to go shut the fuck up and they need to go sit the fuck down. Because if someone who was there tells you, shut the fuck up, everything you just said is stupid, shut the fuck up. Everything you just said is stupid. I've seen at least 5 famous GOP jackasses, totally sucking that lobbyist dick. I've seen 5 of them talk shit or try to say, how dare you blame the NRA and all this other dumb shit or blame guns. And then here come the kids. Hey, dumbass. They only succeeded because they got access to a weapon that wasn't properly regulated. Because, again, the NRA and various other NRA-related jackasseries pay the lobbyists to have the GOP cock-block shit. And it's going to keep working as long as we got President Pumpkin, because President Pumpkin don't give a shit about shit unless it involves money. That's all I got to say about it, though. Like, I'm never happy when this type of shit goes down. That goes without saying, but I'm just genuinely at a point where I am fucking sick and tired of always being blamed for shit I didn't do. Not just as a minority, but just as a video game player. No matter how many times science tells them, no, the video games don't have shit to do with shit, they keep coming. This motherfucker is in Kentucky, has nothing to do with it, but he want to raise taxes.
You know how many people have played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas? I don't see them going around with dual Uzi shooting.
Do you know how many people have played the new Grand Theft Auto?
So too many.
It's over 100 million.
Too many.
I honestly didn't know that fact. I'm not
Dude, they've been selling 5 million or more copies every year since it came out. The first year was like 30 or 40 million. Every year after that, it's another 5 million. Now, think about how old the new Grand Theft Auto is.
It's pretty fucking old, actually.
2 years old.
No.
It's not even. Because it was PlayStation 3's like, what, mid-term?
It was like, I think it came in at the end of the PlayStation 3 life cycle. Then the PC version came out 2 years later. Then there was the PS4 version and the Xbone version. Actually, somebody should. Hey, let's Google that real quick. Somebody Google when did Grand Theft Auto 5 first come out?
Shout
Yeah,
out
let's
Alex.
not to mention Call of Duty as well. So,
Right.
just saying. Just saying.
Do they have AR-15s in Call of Duty?
Good question.
Nah, that's like legitimate as fuck. Like, cause I know like it's variations of them where they're not called AR-15s, but they are, of the same family. But you know.
2013 came out.
Woo!
Wow.
So- 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That game is 5 years old and it's still 100 over. It's got over 100 million new players.
That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
This has been another thought-provoking episode of Token Games Podcast. I will see you guys when I see you guys.